Hey everybody, can everyone hear me and see me? Fingers crossed you can. I'll wait and see for confirmation in the chat. Okay, so you can see me and hear me now? Yes? I'm so sorry. I had to pack my computer up and come to a different building. I was having some technical issues, unfortunately. That's my first time since I've been giving the live lessons that I've ever experienced that. So I didn't know what to do, but thank you all so much for your patience. I'm so sorry that we're getting started late. Let me just pull up our lesson for today. All right. While I'm getting things sorted, if you all could tell me where you're watching from today. We'll give some shout outs in the chat. Let's see here. All right. Hello, Nigeria. Hi, France and Brazil. Hello, New York. Hi, Romania. Albany, Pakistan. Oh, you're in Albany in New York. Hello, New Mexico. I love New Mexico. Hi to Holland and Thailand and Sri Lanka. Hi, Pakistan. All right, keep telling me where you're watching from. Again, for those of you, some of you may have left and rejoined. We are getting started a bit late today, so I'm very sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulties, but everything seems to be working well now. I am in a new place, so hopefully the lighting is okay for you. I'm going to be putting some definitions up here today. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Molly. I'm a tutor on Cambly. Some of you who have watched live lessons have seen some of my lessons. Maybe some of you are new here. So for those of you who are new, I'm from the United States. I live in the state of Tennessee. I actually just moved to a new city in Tennessee last month, which is why I'm having technical difficulties. All right, hello, India. Hi, Japan. So if you watched my last live lesson a few weeks ago, we covered some advanced adjectives to describe people. And today we're going to do a part 2 of that lesson, and we're going to learn 12 advanced adjectives to describe places. Places, not people. I did. I left my old place. I'm in a new house now, in a new city, about 3.5 hours away, where the mountains are. So it's very beautiful. And today we're going to talk about some adjectives that maybe describe where I live now. All right, keep telling me where you're watching from before we get started. Who can tell me what is an adjective? I know I asked you this in the last lesson, but a quick refresher, what's an adjective? What is an adjective? Who can tell me in the chat? What is an adjective? Good. An adjective is a word we use to describe a noun. So a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. And then when we want to describe that person, a place, or a thing, we're going to use an adjective. Today, we're going to focus on advanced adjectives. So this is to further your vocabulary. Maybe you've learned some very simple adjectives to describe places, but you want to use an advanced vocabulary in your conversation. So we're going to learn 12 of those today. Is everybody ready to get started? I'm sure you are because you waited on me. So we're going to go in alphabetical order, okay? Alphabetical order, we'll go over some examples and then we'll do a little bit of practice at the end, okay? All right, our first advanced adjective is breathtaking. Breathtaking. So this is two words put together. It's a compound word. Breathtaking. Something that is breathtaking is extremely beautiful, causing awe or excitement. When you're in awe of something, it means you're amazed by it. You think it's incredible. Maybe you don't have the right words. So, breathtaking is something extremely beautiful. It's so beautiful, it takes our breath away. Okay? Maybe we don't know what to say. We just stand there and we're amazed at the sight. So, a breathtaking place is something so beautiful, we don't even know what to say. It takes our breath away. Have any of you ever seen a breathtaking place before? Maybe traveled to a breathtaking place, or maybe where you live, is it a breathtaking place? If so, type it in the chat for me. A few years ago, I visited Machu Picchu in Peru, and Machu Picchu was absolutely breathtaking. Make sure you all can see this. So an example sentence, my hike ended in breathtaking views from the top of a mountain. So I'm not sure if any of you like to hike, but if you've ever climbed to the top of a mountain and you just look around, the views are breathtaking. Breathtaking. Someone said that's how I would describe Switzerland. Yeah, I've never been to Switzerland, but I would love to visit. I do think Switzerland has some breathtaking views from the pictures I've seen and the videos I've watched. Those mountains seem breathtaking. Very good. All right. Our next word, bustling. Bustling. So the T in this adjective is silent. So we don't pronounce the T. Bustling. A place that is bustling is full of busy activity. It's very busy, maybe very crowded. There's lots of people in the streets calling taxis, maybe meeting someone for lunch, rushing to work. Okay, so bustling describes a place that is full of busy activity. There's a lot of people, it's crowded. Everyone is doing something. Bustling. New York is bustling all day. Yeah, I've actually never been to New York, but it is known as a bustling city. Our example sentence, Laura wanted to live in a bustling city, so she moved to New York City last year. So you all use New York City in your examples already. I also use the same example because it is known as a bustling city. Laura wanted to live in a bustling city, so she moved to New York City last year. Has anyone who's watching visited New York? Have any of you ever been to New York? Bangkok is a bustling city in Thailand. Ooh, I think Bangkok might be more bustling than New York City. Someone asked the meaning of hike from the first example. Hike. To hike is an activity that you do when you are walking or trekking outdoors in the forest or in the mountains. It's a hobby to hike. I love hiking. Mumbai is also a bustling city. I think I've seen videos of Mumbai. All right, good. Let's go to our next adjective. Yes. Someone asked, is it the same as lively? It is lively. They can be slightly different. So, bustling is very crowded and lots of things happening. Lively doesn't necessarily mean crowded, but lively is when there are a lot of things happening. But they can mean more or less the same thing. All right, our next word, desolate. Desolate. A desolate place means it's lacking people, plants, and animals. It's deserted or neglected. So there are no people, there's no plants, there's no animals. Maybe it's a place that's been deserted or abandoned, or just an old town that's been neglected. So it's lifeless. There are no trees, no humans, no birds flying around. It could be a depressing place, maybe a lonely place or sad place. So a place that's desolate is lifeless. There's no life. Let's look at an example sentence. On our way to the train station, we passed through a desolate town in the desert. Good. Someone also you guys are 2 steps ahead of me. Someone just said desert places are desolate. Yep. So a lot of times deserts are very desolate, right? They're dry, nobody lives there. There's not a lot of trees or animals. It's kind of a sad place. So on our way to the train station, we passed through desolate town in the desert. Desolate. Very good. I've never been to the desert. I don't think I've ever seen a desolate place either. I would like to visit the desert one day. Mars is a desolate planet. Very good. Yep. Who knows? Maybe people will live on Mars one day and it won't be desolate anymore. That's what some people think. Before Las Vegas became a mobster's paradise, the entire area was nothing but a desolate desert. Great example. Death Valley where is Death Valley? I've heard of Death Valley. That's a desolate place. Very good. Someone asked our topic. Yeah, our topic is advanced adjectives to describe places. And don't forget, if you joined in late or need to leave early, this live lesson will be recorded and uploaded so that you can go back and watch it all the way through as many times as you want. All right. Next word. Our next adjective is dreary. Dreary. It's kind of a difficult word to pronounce. Dreary. A place that is dreary is sad or dull. It is lacking liveliness. So dreary is similar to desolate. But a dreary place doesn't mean that there's no people, plants, or animals. Maybe it's just a sad place. Desolate means there's no liveliness at all. Dreary is just lacking liveliness. Dreary. So our example, this city, I made a mistake here, Buenaventura. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of this city. I believe it was in Australia. The city of Buenaventura seems like a dreary place because it rains 258 days per year. So maybe a city where the weather is never good, it rains all the time. This is a dreary place, right? It's dull and sad, gloomy. It's always raining. This would be a dreary place. Dreary. All right, these are our first 4, so we've got 8 more to go. Breathtaking, bustling, desolate, and dreary. Do we have any questions before we move on to the next 4? The rainy weather was putting me in a dreary mood. Very good. Yeah, so dreary can be used to describe places. It can also be used to describe your emotions, your mood. Sad, a sad adjective. Works from Twilight is dreary as well. I almost used that as my example, but I wasn't sure if everyone watching would know what Twilight was. I love that example. So there's a book or books and movies, Twilight, and they live in a city called Forks, and it rains almost every day. And so, yes, it is a very dreary city. It's a dreary place. Great example. All right, let's move on to the next 4. Do any of you live in a dreary place or a dreary city where it rains a lot? I don't. The city I live in and the city I lived before had good weather, lots of sun. But I know there are some cities that are very dreary. So do any of you live in a dreary city where it rains a lot? Hopefully not. All right. Next one. Idyllic. Idyllic. An idyllic place is pleasing or picturesque in a simple way. It is extremely pleasant or peaceful. Idyllic. Pleasing or picturesque in a simple way, extremely pleasant or peaceful. So idyllic is maybe if you close your eyes and think of a happy place, a peaceful place you wish you were. This is your idyllic place, right? It's a very pleasing, peaceful place, very pleasant to be. Idyllic, maybe like your perfect world or your happy place. So my example sentence for this one. Yep, that's the right one. I thought I saw another word. The small, quiet town next to the sea is an idyllic place to buy a house. The small, quiet town next to the sea is an idyllic place to buy a house. Yeah, maybe not for some people. Maybe some people, their idyllic place to live would be next to the ocean, or maybe some next to the mountains, or maybe some in a big city like New York City. I think for me, my idyllic place to live, if I wanted to buy a house, it would be in the mountains because I love the mountains. Idyllic. What about you all? If you had an idyllic place to live, to buy a house or build a house, what would be an idyllic place for you? Type it in the chat. What would be an idyllic place for you to buy a house? Your perfect place to live. So someone said near dolphins. I guess you like dolphins a lot. That would be cool. If you had a house and you could see the dolphins from your house. The tiny town by the sea is an idyllic place. Good. The temple is an idyllic place for me. Very good. That's a very peaceful place to be. California. Interesting. Any specific city in California or anywhere in California? Someone said near a lake. I wouldn't mind living next to a lake or a river. I like water, but mountains are my favorite. I don't think the beach would be an idyllic place for me to live, but maybe a river or a lake. Near peacocks. Do you like peacocks? Do you know? So I mentioned I just moved. Where I live now, there are peacocks here, a lot of peacocks. They're beautiful. I wish I could show you pictures. Oh, Los Angeles. I used Los Angeles today in one of my examples. One of the examples I talk about Los Angeles. Someone said an idyllic place for me could be my parents' home in the countryside near the mountains in northern Bosnia. Wow, I've never been to Bosnia. All right, let's go over the next one. Very good. Those are some great idyllic places. They all sound peaceful, like your happy places. All right, next one. Panoramic. 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 A panoramic place is an unbroken view of an entire surrounding area. Panoramic. An unbroken view of an entire surrounding area. So maybe this could be if you're climbing a mountain and you get to the top of the mountain, you have a panoramic view, right, of everything around you. There's nothing breaking that view. So when you have a view of everything around you, there's no buildings in the way, there's nothing blocking your view. I'm not sure if any of you have an iPhone. I'm not sure if all smartphones have this, but on my phone, on the camera setting, there's a panoramic setting where you can take your camera and do this to take a picture of everything you see, everything around you. Panoramic. All right, our example of that one. From the top of the skyscraper, there is a panoramic view of the city. From the top of the skyscraper, there's a panoramic view of the city. Does everyone know what a skyscraper is? A skyscraper? So a skyscraper is just a really, really, really tall building. Lots of times, big cities like New York City, or someone mentioned Bangkok earlier, they have lots of skyscrapers. And this word comes from scrape. To scrape something is to like brush up against something or scratch something. So we think a skyscraper, it's so tall that it's brushing against the sky, right? Or scraping the sky. So if you go to the top of a skyscraper, because it's so tall, you can see all of the city, all of the shorter buildings around you. You get a panoramic view of the city, like the Empire State Building. Yeah, great example. Let's read your other examples. As I stood on top of the mountain, I could spot 7 different states from this panoramic view. That's a great example. The CN Tower in Toronto City. I've never heard of that. I know there's some very tall skyscrapers in many different cities around the world. And yes, just as Jolly said, on clear days, there's a lot of panoramic views. So the clearer the day, the better view you have. If it's cloudy, maybe you won't be able to see as much. The Eiffel Tower. Yeah, the Eiffel Tower as well. Very good. All right. Have any of you ever visited the Eiffel Tower? I've never visited the Eiffel Tower. Maybe one day I'd like to. All right, next one. Picturesque. Picturesque. So this is actually in the definition of our word idyllic, right? Our definition is picturesque. So what is the meaning of picturesque? Picturesque, visually attractive, very charming, like a painted picture. Okay, so something that's picturesque, visually, it's very pretty. Maybe it looks like something you would see in a painting, a painted picture of scenery. So a place that's picturesque is just very charming and pretty. So our example of that, we drove through the picturesque village surrounded by mountains at sunset. We drove through the picturesque village surrounded by mountains at sunset. So if you can close your eyes and imagine you're driving in a car through a city, you're surrounded by mountains and the sun is setting, the sky is purple and pink. Maybe you think, wow, this looks like a painting. It's picturesque. Picturesque. It's a great word to use to describe a place. If you think you could see it in a painting, then it's a picturesque place. All right, next one, last one, and then I'll take some questions or examples. The next one, pristine. Pristine. A place that is pristine means it's not spoiled or polluted, right? So typically, anytime we're using the word pristine, we're not describing a city or a crowded place. When we're talking about a place that's pristine, it's not spoiled, there's no pollutions, it's in perfect condition because it's without human alteration. Okay, so it means humans haven't come in, they haven't built any houses or buildings, they haven't cut down any trees, they haven't left any trash on the ground. A pristine place is not polluted. It's in perfect condition. It hasn't been ruined by humans. So pristine, a pristine place. Unfortunately, I don't think that there are many pristine places around the world anymore. I know many people are trying to preserve some of these pristine places. Yeah, the Amazon is pristine. Some of the Amazon. I think some of the Amazon is humans are going and tearing down trees and things, but some of the Amazon is pristine still, absolutely. I used to live in the country of Ecuador a few years ago, which has the Amazon rainforest in it. And there were parts of the Amazon rainforest that were still pristine, that did not allow tourists to visit. So those places that don't allow tourists are typically pristine. The deep sea, good example, yeah, because humans haven't gone down to the deep sea. So the deep sea is still pristine. Let's see, someone said because there were few tourists on the island, the beaches were still pristine and beautiful. Are you reading my examples? That's almost exactly the example I have. I think a few words are different. Because the island didn't allow many tourists to visit, the beach was in pristine condition. It was in pristine condition, perfect condition. It's easier to keep a place in pristine condition when you don't allow tourists. Very good. Namibia is one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world. I didn't know that. So probably a lot of it is in pristine, if not almost pristine conditions. All right, so really quickly, the next four, idyllic, panoramic, picturesque, and pristine. Does anyone have any questions so far before we cover our last 4? Type them in the chat if you do. The pristine snow covered the city and made the area look like a dazzling movie scene. Ooh, those are some good adjectives. Pristine and dazzling. Those are some advanced adjectives. Right, so we use advanced adjectives also to spice up our sentences, right? Maybe you're ready to take your English to the next level and you really want to start sounding not so simple. You can use advanced adjectives like this to describe nouns. Mount Everest, yes. Mount Everest is in pristine condition. I think because it's so difficult for people to visit, it's going to stay in pristine condition. Someone asked if a synonym of pristine could be unspoilt. Yes, absolutely. Unspoilt, pristine. Very good. All right, let's move on to our last 4. This is one of my favorite adjectives to describe a place. One of my favorite adjectives to describe a place is quaint. Quaint. I just love the sound of the word. Quaint. So a place that is quaint is strange and unusual, but in an old-fashioned and charming way. So maybe it's a little weird, but it's weird in a good way. It's very charming, very old-fashioned, maybe like a historic city, a small historic village would be quaint, right? So kind of strange, kind of unusual, but in a charming way, in a way that people like. A quaint city or a quaint village. And I actually have in my example a city. If you can, I'd like for you to look it up so you can get a picture of what a quaint city would look like. So an example, I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this. It's either Beaupard or Boppard. We're going to say Beaupard. Beaupard is a small, quaint town with narrow streets. So this city is located in Germany. So if you're able to, while still watching, search really quickly Beaupard, Germany. Look at pictures of that. And that's just, to me, the perfect picture of a quaint city. It's old-fashioned, it's very unusual looking, the streets are narrow, the buildings look historical. It's a very cool city. I think I'd like to visit there. So if you have a moment, I'll give you a moment if you'd like to look up Beaupard, Germany, just a picture of it. Yeah, it looks like something out of a movie. So this is a quaint town. All right. Our next adjective, or let's see if you have any examples. A quaint country cottage. Oh yeah. So cottages are these certain styles of houses and they're very quaint. They're kind of unusual looking, very charming. Maybe they look like they came from the past, like an older house. Quaint country cottages. My grandmother's quaint home is filled with knickknacks from her childhood. Do you all know what a knickknack is? A knickknack? That's an interesting vocab. I'm not sure if this is used in all English-speaking countries, but here, knickknacks are kind of like pointless items. I like to collect knickknacks. So they're just random. For example, I have a little glass chicken and a little glass boot, cowboy boot, and they're little, and I have them displayed on the shelf. These are knickknacks. Just kind of these pointless little items that people collect, and a random assortment of things. A knickknack. All right, next one. Ramshackle. Ramshackle. A ramshackle place means that it appears ready to collapse, or it is carelessly or loosely constructed. Okay, ramshackle. If you see ramshackle house, it looks like at any moment it could collapse and fall down. Maybe because it's really old, or maybe because they didn't build it very well. They carelessly and loosely built it, so it's not sturdy. Ramshackle. So ramshackle is used to describe buildings or houses, not landscape. Quaint can be used to describe houses, buildings, or the landscape. The landscape could also be quaint. The town was left with many ramshackle houses after the hurricane last week. The town was left with many ramshackled houses after the hurricane last week. So a big hurricane came through a city and all of the houses are damaged. And so they look like they could collapse at any moment. They're ramshackled houses. So this is not really a great adjective, or I guess a positive adjective. It's more of a negative adjective. Very good. Yes, so natural disasters like hurricanes and earthquakes. Someone mentioned earthquakes. Earthquake can make houses ramshackle. Oh, in Turkey last year, that's right. Yep, so that did happen last year, the earthquake last year. And I'm sure many houses and buildings are still ramshackled. All right, next one. We only have two more. Sprawling. A place that is sprawling is covered with buildings across a large area. Usually those buildings have been built gradually over time. Sprawling. So we're going to use this word to describe a place, but more specifically a city, typically a city. A city that's sprawling with houses. It means that the houses cover a large area of that region, usually built over time. A lot of times what happens is a city starts off small, and then over time, more people start moving there, more houses are built, more restaurants are built, and then before you know it, that city is sprawling. Yeah, to build new subdivisions. Oh wow, the city is tearing down the ramshackle houses after the hurricane. Oh, that's your example. Where are you getting these great examples? So let me read it from the beginning. To build new subdivisions, so a subdivision is like a neighborhood with lots of houses next to each other. To build new subdivisions, the city is tearing down all of the ramshackle houses that were abandoned after the hurricane. Very good. So it's better to tear down ramshackle houses because they're probably going to collapse anyway. All right, sprawling. Let me put this back up here. Someone mentioned, oh, I didn't use it. Someone mentioned Los Angeles earlier. I originally had Los Angeles in my example, but I changed it. But Los Angeles, I do have it here, is known as a sprawling city, the sprawling city of Los Angeles, because there are many buildings and houses being built. And Los Angeles is a big city, so those buildings and houses cover the big city. All right. My example is somewhere in the sprawling metropolis, there is a quiet park to enjoy. A metropolis is like a large city, typically the capital or one of the main cities in a region. So, somewhere in the sprawling metropolis, there is a quiet park to enjoy. A megacity. Do any of you live in a sprawling city? They keep building houses and buildings further and further, it keeps growing. Any of you live in a city like this, a sprawling city? I did before I moved to where I am now, Nashville. I think Nashville, Tennessee is Nashville's the capital, and Nashville is a sprawling city. It's grown so much. They keep any place that has some land, they build apartments on that land. So there's no land anymore. It's lots of apartments and houses really close together, and restaurants and coffee shops. It's sprawling. And the traffic is terrible. The traffic is very bad. Okay, so some of you don't live in a sprawling city. Yeah, where I live now, it's not a sprawling city. Someone said, no, I live in a suburban, the sprawling suburbs. Yeah, I live in a small town. All right, last one. Tranquil. Tranquil. A tranquil place is peaceful and quiet, free from commotion, noise, and activity. So I'm sure many of you, hopefully, have a tranquil place you can go when you need some peace and some rest. So tranquil, a place that is tranquil is peaceful and quiet. There's no commotion, there's no traffic, there's no bustling. It's not bustling. There's not a lot of people. A tranquil place. Maybe it's by a lake or by a beach or on top of the mountain. A tranquil place. Maybe it's your bedroom or your office where no one else is around and it's nice and quiet. Commotion. Commotion is just like activity, noise, movement. That's commotion. Yeah. Commotion is just like noise and activity, things happening around you. Good question. Tranquil. And my example for that one, the tranquil forest was a great place for hiking. So for me, a tranquil place would be a forest to hike in where there's no one else, no other people around, and I can just listen to the birds and smell the trees. To me, that is a tranquil place. It's very peaceful for me. I love to listen to the birds and not hear people or cars. Tranquil. There are many tranquil temples and shrines in Japan. I would love to visit Japan one day. You all describe all of these places, and it makes me want to visit all of the places where you live. Since we were the only ones on the beach, we enjoyed a tranquil day. Good, right? There's no other people around. It's very peaceful. Living in a tranquil country without war is a fortune. It's fortunate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope to visit all of the world. I'm getting older and losing time, so I'm running out of time. I have visited a number of countries, but not as many as I'd like to. So I have a lot of places on my list to visit. Okay, if you've got any questions, please type them in the chat. We're going to do a quick review of all of these. So type your questions in the chat. And then just before we end, I know we're at 45 minutes, I wanted you to type the city you live in, and then from the adjectives we learned today, maybe tell me which of these adjectives describes your city. Do any of these adjectives describe where you live? If so, type your city in the chat and type the adjectives that describe your city from today, or new adjectives if you'd like. Okay, so let's do a quick review. I'll start on this side. Something that's breathtaking is extremely beautiful. It's so beautiful, it takes your breath away. You're like, wow, this is amazing. Or maybe you don't have any words to say. So it's a beautiful landscape, mountains, a sunset. I used Machu Picchu as my example. Bustling, a bustling place we're going to typically use to describe a city. Because bustling is when there's a lot of activity happening. It's busy, there's traffic, there's a lot of people. We use New York City as an example. New York City is bustling. Desolate. A desolate place is a place that is lacking people, animals, and trees, like the desert. The desert is a desolate place. Dreary. Dreary is kind of similar as desolate. Dreary is more sad and gloomy and dull. We talked about a few cities where it rains a lot. It rains all the time. This would be a dreary place to live because it's always raining. Idyllic. Idyllic is a picturesque or pleasing place, kind of like your happy place or perfect place. It's really beautiful and peaceful. Panoramic. A panoramic place means that, excuse me, you have a view all around you. There's nothing blocking your view. So maybe if you're standing in the middle of New York City, you don't have a panoramic view because there's people and buildings and cars. But if you're standing on the top of a mountain, you have a panoramic view. You can see everything. Picturesque. Something that is picturesque is visually attractive. It's beautiful. It resembles a painting. So if you look at a place, maybe the mountains with the sun setting over them, it looks like a painting of a picture. It's picturesque. Pristine. A place that is pristine means it is in perfect condition. It's clean. It's not polluted or spoiled. Humans have not altered this place in any way. It's in pristine condition, perfect condition. Scoot this way. Quaint. A place that is quaint can be strange and unusual, but in a good way, in a charming way. Maybe it's old-fashioned. So I gave you all the example of the city. Let's see, where was that? Beauport. There's a city in Germany. Some of you looked it up. Don't know what I did with it. But it was a quaint city. It had small streets and historic houses. Ramshackle. Ramshackle we use to describe buildings in a place, and this means that they appear like they're about to collapse. Maybe from natural disaster, or maybe because someone did not build it well enough. This is a ramshackle. Sprawling we use typically to describe a busy city, right? So a busy place. It's got lots of houses or buildings that have been built over time that cover a large area. And tranquil. A tranquil place is a quiet and peaceful place, a place to relax. No traffic, no people. You don't think about your job there. It's a tranquil place. All right, so I'm going to go through the chat and see if there are any questions and read some of your examples. So I'll give an example. So I live in a small, quaint city right now, my new city or town. It's quaint. It is tranquil here. I think some of you who were here earlier heard me say there's peacocks that live here. There's a lot of animals here, goats, peacocks, pigs. So to me, it's very tranquil. and quaint. And I think it's picturesque as well. It's not a big city. It's not bustling and noisy. Sri Lanka is peaceful, not expensive, and has good hospitality. In Dhaka, it's bustling, bustling with people and traffic, maybe. Furano is picturesque with lavender, the plant lavender. I'm not sure. I know there's a plant lavender. I don't know if you mean the color lavender as in the sky. Furano. I'll have to look up the city of Furano. I may be pronouncing that incorrectly. Angela said, the city where I live is bustling, but with some picturesque places. That's good. I think it's important to have a mix of both. Maybe you have bustling to keep you busy and have coffee shops, but also have some picturesque places that are peaceful. See if there are any other examples. Any other questions that we have? Someone asked how many countries I visited and which one was my favorite. I visited 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 countries, I think. And I lived in a different country as well. It's hard to say which one my favorite was. Probably Ecuador. That's where I lived for 4 years. It was my favorite country because it's very small, but it has everything. It has the beach, it has the mountains, and it has the Amazon rainforest. So it has all of those, and you can travel around very easily. There's a lot of breathtaking and picturesque places there. There's volcanoes as well, hot springs. I think that's probably been my favorite place, but I'm a little biased because I lived there. So I have a special bond with that place. But there are many places that I still want to visit. All right, that is it for today. These are our 12 advanced adjectives to describe places. So I hope you guys learned some new vocabulary words, new adjectives you can use when you're talking about places you want to visit or places you have visited, or maybe the city where you live. You can use some of these to describe that. For those of you who joined in late, don't forget that today's lesson is recorded. So as soon as we say goodbye, it's going to be uploaded on Cambly's YouTube channel. So you can go back and watch it again if you missed something or if you have to go early, no worries. I know many of you are already on Cambly, but if any of you are not on Cambly or don't know what Cambly is, if you haven't checked it out, it is an English learning platform. You can download the app or have classes from your computer. And there are tutors readily available any hour of the day from many English-speaking countries around the world who can help you prepare for your tests or just improve your vocabulary, build your confidence in speaking English. So if you haven't joined already, there is a code you can find in the description of this video. That code is GO LIVE, and that can get you up to 36% off of any subscription. All right. Thank you all so much for joining today's live lesson. It's always a pleasure getting to interact with you all in the chat. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you again soon. Bye, everybody.